You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
I didn't notice or I didn't realize that coach was speaking today. But he said kind of a lot of stuff, which is always, Coach McDaniel was being Coach McDaniel. But I also feel like today was quite a significant news day in the NFL. Quite a few things which I kind of wanted to get to before we speak about Coach McDaniel. Before I delve into any of that, how is jiu-jitsu going, Mr. Touche?
It's funny, bro, that you asked me that because it's going really good. Like, really good. I wasn't even going to bring it up. Well, actually, it comes up today because of some of the things that was discussed in Media Day, but I wasn't going to say nothing about my jiu-jitsu classes. I was just going to talk about Tua's. And since we're here, I guess we could start there, unless you wanted to start somewhere else.
No, not really.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Coach McDaniel had media day today. All the coaches had media day today. I don't know if it's the owner meeting. What is it? What's going on right now?
I'm not sure, but a few GMs had some media day as well. So I haven't seen Chris Greer. I didn't know if he was expected to talk. But yeah, I've seen a few GMs speak. But obviously, we've only had Coach speak today so far.
Combine coming up, ain't it? Is it the combine?
Yeah, combine starts on Thursday. Or the drill start on Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, so they're probably at the combine then. And that's probably why we have media day. We'll start with the jiu-jitsu thing. Mike, according to Joe Shad on Twitter, he said Mike McDaniel says it's jiu-jitsu training for Tua. Tua is investing in it. This should prepare him. That's what he says. And reports, there were a couple of reports that it's going to be judo and jiu-jitsu or judo or jiu-jitsu. And as the resident mixed martial artist on the podcast, I can tell you that jiu-jitsu training will help you learn how to fall. However, judo classes will probably get you there faster. So you're going to fall in both of these martial arts. Judo has more trips and more, you're going to be throwing your partner and your partner has to learn how to fall type stuff. So more trips and more throws in judo, but in jiu-jitsu, you're being used as basically the bad guy. So the bad guy needs to know how to fall. And if I was to, I would go jiu-jitsu too, obviously, since I've chosen jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, it could be judo too. I don't know if he's going to do judo as well, but McDaniel says it's jiu-jitsu. McDaniel says it's jiu-jitsu. What else did McDaniel say, Kadeem?
So Tua's fifth-year option came up. And he essentially said that the Dolphins will use all the time available before making a decision on exercising Tua's fifth-year option. And that decision needs to be made by May the 1st. So there is plenty of time. I think we've had like a brief discussion on it. You haven't had like a full discussion. And it might be worth having a full episode on it as opposed to kind of like touching it briefly here. I think for me, it makes sense to exercise it. But I think a lot of it might just come down to as well the cap, I guess. And that would it make more sense to just extend him and then you kind of have that, you kind of know where your cap is over the next few years. And if anything, you might be able to get him cheaper if you extend him now, as opposed to extending 5th year option and then extending him at the end of next season. But what did you make of Mike McDaniel saying that they're going to essentially wait to make a decision? And so very, very quickly, they might have made the decision already. He just didn't, say in public what they're going to do, I guess.
So I really wanted to get the exact words that Mike McDaniel said about the extension because I don't like the way he worded it. Here we go. According to Joe Shad, it says Dolphins and McDaniel are looking to use the time until deadline to evaluate the Tua 5th year option decision. Now, this is a quote from Twitter that Joe Shad put out there. I did not hear Coach McDaniel say, we're going to take all the time up to May 1st to evaluate if we're going to use the 5th year option. That's important in these terms, because if you say you're still evaluating, I'm not going to believe that for one. And if you are, then that's a problem for me. Like, what do you mean you're still evaluating? You either know if you're going to 5th year option this dude by now or you're not. So there's a difference in the verbiage. And, this is the game of telephone. You know what the game of telephone is, Kaneem?
No, I don't.
So, I was going to say there's this guy named Alexander Graham Bell. Do you know who that is?
I don't know.
So anyway, but then we could get all kind of debates from there. But so real quick, let me tell you about the game of telephone. It's when you have when you were younger, teenager maybe, and you line up 12 people, and you'll start you'll just say a sentence and then the sentence you said has to make it to the other end, and you just whisper to the next person, whisper to the next person, whisper to the next person, and you see what the message was at the end of the other.
So we call that Chinese whispers.
Bro, what's up with you in the Chinese, bro?
That has nothing
bro, what's
to do
going
with
on
me.
here, bro?
Okay, do you know what? This is definitely a Google situation.
Bro, you trying to get us canceled, dog? We already dodged one bullet, bro.
Okay, and literally looking on Google, this is from Wikipedia. Chinese whispers or telephone. It's this has nothing to do with thing. It's one of the things where it depends on where you're from. So I know what Chinese whispers,
I don't know, bro. Yeah, but the game of telephone I didn't call it British telephone. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to dodge bullets with Kadeem. You know what? I'm gonna tread lightly with
also,
Kadeem.
So in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, the game is typically called Chinese whispers. It's Wikipedia doesn't say why it's called Chinese. There's no concrete explanation. As the game is popular among children worldwide, it is also known under various other names depending on locality, such as Russian Scandal, Whisper Down the Lane, Broken Telephone, Operator, Grapevine, Gossip, Secret Message, the Messenger Game, and Pass the Message, among others. So yeah,
I don't know, Kadeem. We'll work on our PC over here on Go Town Dolphins. But so I don't know if Joe Shad took it out of McDaniel's mouth like that. We're gonna use the time until the deadline to evaluate the Tua 5th year option decision. I don't like that, but
I think so.
Go ahead.
No, I think you're kind of reading a bit too much into it, or not even that. I think there's so many other avenues you can take that down. Because again, it's would it make more sense to just extend him now and work out your contract, your salary cap over the next few years? Is it because McDaniel also said that both the Dolphins and Tua want to be here long term, so it sounds like they want him here. It could be a matter of, well, actually, what's better for us, as a team?
That's
how
fair.
long are they going to take to extend him? I think Cameron Wolf was on some NFL show or at some NFL network, and he obviously mentioned the injury situation, which I think is a valid thing to kind of get into, but it's one of those things where you don't want to leave yourself, I guess, no wiggle room. So I took it as obviously the injury plays a massive part in what you do, but I think it's more a case of we know or we've seen the talent Tua had this year. We know that it can only get better. So, in terms of keeping Christian Wilkins, keeping Zach Sealer, keeping whoever we want to do, bringing guys in, would it actually make more sense to just extend him now for a cheaper price than we would do in 12 months? But I can obviously understand where you're coming from.
I don't know. I feel what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I didn't translate that this way. To me, this sounds like he's saying, all right, and I just want to reiterate what you're saying for our listeners. It sounds like you're saying they're happy with Tua, and maybe this is not a 5th-year option conversation. Maybe this is let's just extend them now conversation. That's what you're saying, right?
As an option, yeah.
As an option, right? That's what I'm saying. And you're saying they're weighing out the options of either extending him now or giving him the 5th-year option, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that's how I took what McDaniel said.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, I took it as we're still not sure if we're going to give him the 5th-year option or not. Now, how you got what you got, I'm not sure how you got there, because if you don't give him the 5th-year option this year by May 1st, if you don't 5th-year option to it by May 1st, the 2023 season is the last season Tua will be under contract. So for me, this is saying, well, we want to waive the 5th-year option, and maybe we'll give him a contract next year. So nothing in those lines right there that Joe Shad tweeted says they're thinking about extending him this year, or Mike McDaniel might extend him this year. So I couldn't go to maybe they're talking about extending him this year. So that's, again, another reason why I don't like it. It's like, I think you should know if you're going to extend, if you're going to 5th-year option somebody by now. That's just what I make of just that 5th-year option line.
But then that's why I also said maybe they do know. He's just not going to tell you. But
use different words then. Don't say we're going to evaluate, because that means you already evaluated. Say, well, we'll make our decision by May 1st, or we'll have our decision by May 1st, or we have May 1st to announce our decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, evaluate still sounds like you're evaluating the position.
But then he could just be evaluating his health concerns. Like,
right. It's still the same thing. You're still evaluating if you're going to keep him or not, or if you're going to tag him or not. I said tag. That's the wrong word. If you're going to give him the 5th-year option or not, you're still evaluating that. So whatever it is that you're evaluating, you're still evaluating it, is my point. So that means I feel like that decision should be already established. You know, the man has had multiple concussions this season. How long are you going to take to evaluate if you want to keep using this guy past this season? So for me, for my dollar, I got a lot of dollars on this podcast because I say for my dollar a lot, but I might not have as much dollars as I say I have on this podcast. So for me, I think you should already know if you're going to 5th-year option him or not, regardless of health, regardless of how good he is, because you've seen what we've seen. You know what we know, probably more with health. So that means you should have a better idea by now.
So when they do that, and I say that because I'm looking at when the Dolphins exercise the 5th-year option on Christian Wilkins, and there's an article on April 28th, which is essentially 3 days before May. But again, I can't remember what they said about Christian Wilkins and his 5th-year option. Obviously, he's a complete different head coach and all that kind of stuff. Actually, no, it's not. So McDaniel was there, but McDaniel hadn't seen him. So again, it'd be interesting to see, I guess, going forward, the verbiage that McDaniel uses when talking about 5th-year option. I just think overall, I didn't see it as a red flag, or like I just kind of like, okay, cool, he said it. And I say red flag. I couldn't think of a better term, but I just took what McDaniel said as like, okay, cool, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted better verbiage. That's all. This is not alarming to me. Although I got somebody on Twitter as we speak right now, me and him are going back and forth. If y'all want to follow the conversation, it's at Charlie_Touche on Twitter. and me and somebody going back and forth about 5th-year option, franchise tag, letting Tua walk and stuff. So he's going back and forth. It's on his Twitter, and I'm just replying to it. But yeah, you talk about quarterback. He also mentioned Skylar Thompson. He said Skylar Thompson will compete for his job as well. What do you make of Skylar Thompson competing, or Mike McDaniel saying he's going to compete? Do you feel like you got anything from that? Oh, you know what? We're going to bring in a real what do you say? Does it feel like we're going to bring in like real competition for Skylar Thompson, or does it feel like Skylar Thompson might be the quarterback?
I feel like they'll bring in real competition, but I think they'll do that because they're not in the business of just bringing someone who has no shot, if that makes sense. I think it's a matter of, like Skylar Thompson is probably the 75 to 25 favorite, but this isn't no walkover. We're not bringing in, I don't know, insert someone who everyone knows. Yeah, that guy is has no shot. I think it's a matter of bringing in someone who will elevate the quarterback room, and if Skylar Thompson wins the job, then you know what? Actually, that's great because Skylar Thompson balled out once again, as opposed to Skylar Thompson won the job because he was competing against me. And it's interesting. I'm going to say it's interesting because both Carson Wentz and Marcus Mariota are now free agents. They've both been released by
their respective teams.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are kind of looking at Marcus Mariota as, hey, can he come in and be QB2? Go Time Dolphins has a short, looking at Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota, who else? Someone in the comments mentioned, sorry, I say someone, Cap for Life in the comments mentioned Cooper Rush as someone to come in. But I think it will be good for the Dolphins to bring in genuine competition at QB2. I also think that competition being brought in will probably stick around the roster regardless, because I think what the Dolphins saw last year is we need 3 quarterbacks on the roster. And I believe the 49ers have taken something to the competition committee about having a 3rd quarterback on the roster, something like that. I would double check what that thing was, but obviously we saw in a key game a team have no quarterbacks left, and I think that a lot of teams will look at that and go, do you know what? Instead of using a valuable roster space for a 3rd quarterback, is there something we can do to protect us? And I think the NFL might look at that and go, yeah, we don't want a repeat of a division game or a title game or any game, and a potential team losing out because of really, really unfortunate bad luck.
Or they could say, bro, what's the likelihood of 4 quarterbacks getting hurt again in one season on one team? They could say, bro, that's never happened. You're just gonna have to live with it. But I get it. Mike McDaniel said Skylar Thompson will compete, but he won't go unchallenged, is what he said. How you feel about Carson Wentz?
You called me as I was muting my thing because the video was going to play. I'd rather Carson Wentz is such a intriguing quarterback, given that it was arguably MVP the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, picked up an injury, has never been the same since, and people are joking saying, could he be in the XFL next season or anything like that? I think Carson Wentz has shown that he might not even be a capable backup. But I also think Carson Wentz in Miami would be better than Carson Wentz in other teams, but I wouldn't pick him up, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not on board with Carson Wentz to compete alongside Skylar Thompson. Yeah, that's just not one for me. How about you?
So Skylar Thompson or $3 million 1 year for Carson Wentz?
Say again, sorry.
Are you taking Skylar Thompson or Carson Wentz for $3 million?
I'm taking Skylar Thompson just because he's cheaper, and also because he knows the system already. So you would like to think that year 1 to year 2 jump, and it's something McDaniel said, but talk about it later. I'd rather go with Skylar Thompson, who knows the system, could play right now if need be, had better familiarity with the players, and yeah, just all in all cheaper given the Dolphins and the current salary cap issues.
I'm taking Carson Wentz. Yeah, you said Skylar Thompson knows the playbook and can play, but there's a difference between playing and winning. Like, yeah, he could play. He's just gonna go out there and call the plays. But bro, we put up like 6 points against the Jets. Like that was like pulling teeth, bro. That was hard to watch. So I'm out on Skylar Thompson.
But then, how does Skylar Thompson do the following week against the Bills?
He didn't do good. We didn't lose because of him, but he didn't do good.
But so don't get me wrong, I completely understand what you're saying. I just think Carson Wentz is no longer the quarterback that he once was, and like again, if it's because of the money for Carson Wentz, like if Carson Wentz was on the same money that Skylar Thompson was, then yeah, you probably go Carson Wentz. But if I can get, again, if it was like he wasn't mentioned, I'd go Marcus Mariota over Carson Wentz. But yeah, in terms of giving $3 million to Carson Wentz or Skylar Thompson, right now I'm going Skylar Thompson. But let us know in the comments below whether you think Skylar Thompson, Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota. And very quickly on the 49ers and NFL competition thing, the NFL Competition Committee is expected to have discussions about the third QB rule, which would allow teams to have an emergency quarterback in uniform, a 47th active player on game days in case of a worst-case scenario situation like the 49ers in the championship game.
That could be Skylar Thompson for me. Bro, I just don't see a world where there's teams clamoring for Skylar Thompson to be their backup quarterback. I don't see it anymore. Maybe once upon a time there was, and he was trade bait. I think Skylar Thompson's stock has plummeted. And you could give me Mariota, you could give me Heineke, you could give me Carson Wentz, you can give me what's your boy from the W's, Winston, Jameis. You can give me all these guys for $3 million. I'm taking them over Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson could be my emergency third quarterback, but I'm not interested in him playing meaningful games in regular season anymore. You said something about something we're going to get into later. What was it?
So McDaniel talking about the team, the offense going from year 1 to year 2 in the system, and saying, for a lot of these guys, obviously including Tua, they haven't had that. They haven't. So McDaniel essentially said, being able to go back and watch tape from last year, knowing it's the same scheme you're going to be in next year, something the Dolphins haven't been able to do. Like Tua hasn't been able to do that since something like high school, something dumb like that.
I think 8 years or something like that.
So
that's a long time.
100%. So essentially, McDaniel just talking about that, and essentially the growth we'll see, hopefully, in this team. Just being able to stay in the same system, essentially.
Mike McDaniel and Jordan Poyer. I'm not in the business of tampering. We need all the draft picks we can get. You could drop the mic after that.
That's the kind of thing where you just walk off, but you might lose your job after that. But yeah, it was a question that was obviously going to come up. The way McDaniel answered it, I think, is in true McDaniel fashion. Like, McDaniel's the only coach who can answer that question. It gets a laugh, but it's also like, no, I'm being serious though. Like, I don't think I'm joking, but I'm not losing no more picks. Like nice try trying to get me for tampering, but nah, like, good luck with that. I do think, yeah, like, you can't read anything into that because he essentially said nothing. But I also think you kind of can read into it, because if there was no interest, it'd be like, yeah, good player, but we have other priorities, or something along those lines.
I don't know. I think It's one thing to be said that you're an NFL head coach, but he's only been an NFL head coach for 1 year. So he doesn't know all the techniques of getting in and out of certain questions. Like Chris Greer, well-seasoned Honey Badger. What's the rumor about the Honey Badger coming to the Miami Dolphins? No, there's no interest with for the Honey Badger. He's a great player. We're not interested. We hope he finds success wherever he goes on his journey. Bro, McDaniel ain't Greer when it comes to personnel conversations. He's not supposed to be either. He's supposed to be the head coach and the play caller. And matter of fact, there was a question about, what's up with the play calling and the timing of your operation. What's going on with that? And he actually answered it. Do you remember what he said?
I had it. I was also looking for some. Yeah. So I've got once again per Joe Shad. Mike McDaniel says there was some learning curve on clock management. Some situations he'd like to have back. He's constantly driving to be the best version of himself. Wants to limit pre-snap penalties. He wants to call it faster.
I'm just saying it's a learning curve, bro. So it's a learning curve with commenting on players that may not necessarily be yours. But yeah, I think he knows he has to be better. And I think he also knows that a lot was on him last year. And he's mic'd up on one of them earlier in the season where he says, "That's me. That's my bad. I effed up." And the microphone caught it. You know what I'm saying? And just as fans watching the game, we can see the lack of, I don't know if it's lack of preparation, but we can see the dysfunction of the plays not being called on time. And typically for the novice, you would just be like, "Oh, the quarterback has to do better." And then here goes Tua. Yeah, I gotta do better. I gotta get the operation better. But the people who really know that McDaniel has to do better, and Tua was just covering up for him. And so when you get a Skylar Thompson in there with your whole season on the line as a coach, play caller, OC, HC, you have to be like, I got to put this kid in a better situation. And I think he knows that now. And not only that, he got the whole world watching. He got the whole front office watching. Like, bro, yeah, you got your team here, but you also got your team booted out the playoffs. Like, if you called a better game, we might have won with Skylar Thompson. Like, that's wild. So clock management got to be a lot better, and I think coach knows that.
Yeah, but I think that's something which he knew in season. And the thing for me is that knowing it and fixing it are two completely different things. Like, you can know something's not good enough. Can you fix it? Can you, And again, I would like to think it's just rookie head coach issues. Like, you know what? I've been there. I wasn't nervous, but any, like unconscious nerves are now gone, and we'll kind of move on from there. Just very quickly on like McDaniel being McDaniel, I guess. Did you see what he said when asked what qualities he's looking for at the combine?
I didn't.
He literally kind of like, so he's has a think, and then in true McDaniel fashion, kind of leans closer to the mic and goes, "The best ones," and that's it. And it's just like, yeah, typical Mike McDaniel. So, and yeah, again, that's why it's very much any Mike McDaniel press conference you get, they're always going to be fun, witty. And he always tells it as it is, like when he was talking about Mike Gesicki. And essentially he said, Mike Gesicki has, earned going out and testing free agency, but they're not in the business of letting good players walk. And, if he wants to come back, then, they'll figure something out. But as everyone expected, Mike Gesicki is going to test free agency, which at this point, no one could be surprised by.
Bruh. I don't want to see Mike Gesicki. I don't want to see him go. I don't think he returns. I don't want to see him go. And if Mike Gesicki did return, he would be giving the best hometown discount any player has ever given. You know what I'm saying? He could go out there and make anywhere from 11 to 14, $15 million a year. And if he came back to Miami, he's going to be making like 8, like half, like a Clarence deal, like a BOGO. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild. So I want better for my dog. I just don't know how we're going to get that for him. So that's unfortunate.
Could it be that he tests free agency and just doesn't like what's out there? And like um, some people will go somewhere and like, you know what, I don't quite like the fit, but the money, I can't turn this money down. Makes Kasiki might look at it and go, do you know what, these places, you know, just no. And he ends up going to Miami, takes a deal because he's happy there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
happy being in Miami is different to be happy the way he's used in Miami. I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 99.9. I'm 98% sure Gesicki leaves and goes somewhere else. But in terms of how do you get Gesicki back in Miami, I think it's a matter of he tests free agency and goes, nah, what they're offering me, how they envisage me in this system, none of these fit what I want to be doing next year. And then at that point, it's just about finding the best way to use Mike Gesicki. But yeah,
I agree. Because what if Houston comes out like, I got $14 million for you, and Mike Gesicki is like, I don't want to spend the next 4 years of my career in Houston with a rookie quarterback for next year, and then a losing season for the first 2 years of the 4. But I do make $14 million, and then who knows what I'm gonna look like in year 3 of that deal. So yeah, I feel you 1,000,000%, and that's exactly what I was saying. Like, that's how you end up back in Miami. Like, you know what, man, I could go to Houston, or I don't even know, bro. I can go to Houston and make the bag, or I can go play with Aaron Rodgers for 1 year and get a bag. But then what's it gonna look like for 3 years in Green Bay? Do I want to go to Green Bay? Like, they don't even have an airport. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, bro, it's crazy. Like, yeah, Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers does not sound appealing. So the same way Devontae Adams got out and dodged, like, why would Gesicki opt into something like that? Like, yeah, I could play with Aaron Rodgers for 1 year, make $14 million a year for 3 years or 4 years, and then have my career be invisible. You know what I'm saying? Or I could stay here with friends and family and the place that drafted me and be happy playing football. And then again, his usage. So that's something that he has to weigh out. And I pray, you know what I'm saying, he ends up in a good place, man. Like, that's my dog.
yeah, 100%.
Hey, you might have to keep the show rolling for a second, Kadeem. I trust you. Go ahead. Do you think?
Wow, like no pressure. But
Yeah, do you think?
I could kind of like test my intros, my outros. Obviously, I am soon taking over Go Time Dolphins, so now be the perfect time to test that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I was going to get into what McDaniel said about the coaching, special teams and offensive line coaching changes. I will wait for Charlie Touche to do that. I think now be the perfect time, if you haven't, to share the video, like the video. If you're not subscribed to Go Time Dolphins, you have to ask, why aren't you subscribed to Go Time Dolphins? Excellent channel, myself and Charlie. Player interviews. We've spoken to, I think in 2022 alone, we spoke to Javon Holland, OJ McDuffie, and Will Hayes. Previously we spoke to Miles Gaskin, and then obviously can't tell who we're getting on in the future, but there will be other players, becoming friends of the podcast. And it's definitely an kind of get away from Go Time Dolphin stuff. Never get away from Go Time Dolphin stuff. Like I said, share, like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff as we continue to grow. The road to 2,000 subscribers is well underway. Also, should also announce the giveaway. You have a giveaway coming up very, very soon. Friend of the podcast, Von Holland, donated some match worn gloves. We will be giving those away on Go Time Dolphins. We're also going live in the next few weeks. So the league season is on. The new league season starts March 15th. Go Time Dolphins will be starting their 4th season. And yeah, going to celebrate with our first ever live show. That is going to be amazing. Do not expect Charlie to still be away. So I'm going to keep on filibustering because that's just what I do best. But no, I guess stuff I really should be talking about with Charlie, to be fair. But as I'm here, and he's back.
Well, you said stuff you should be talking about when I'm here. What happened?
Yeah, just stuff like trade stuff. So there's this rumor that Derrick Henry might be available for trade, and Dolphins fans are going, go get Derrick Henry. Leonard Fournette being released. There's such a lot of running back stuff essentially, and yeah, I was going to get into that, but obviously you're back now.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to see what Derrick Henry contract talking about. I'm not interested in Leonard Fournette. I know you're not. Who else? Who else just became available? Someone else just became available. But you see what I did there, right, Kadeem? Like I got you past the intro, and I came back in time for the outro. So now you don't have to stumble over your words anymore. You know what I'm saying? I might have been gone for like 30 seconds, but you didn't have to do the intro or the outro.
I could have done the outro. Just saying.
You couldn't have though.
I could have though.
You couldn't have though.
In case of emergency, don't go off. Listen, if you had to dash right now, and you're like, Kadeem. Also, I just realized, do you call me Kadeem?
Did I not call you Kadeem?
No one calls me Kadeem.
What am I supposed to call you?
People tend to call me Cads, okay? The other day I was like, I think only 2 people call me Kadeem. You and my mum. No one else called me Kadeem.
Bro, we're about to begin like 10 days from now. Yeah. We're gonna begin our 4th season on this podcast, and you just now recognizing that I call you by your first name?
Yes, I literally just recognized it.
I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. All right, so Derrick Henry contract has a $10 million dead cap hit for the Tennessee Titans. If they moved them, pretty sure you could get that down lower than that post June 1st. We'll figure this out. But he'll be on I don't know. Derrick Henry for 10-5. Of course we'll take that. But I don't see how the Titans just don't hold on to him, see what happens. You gotta be you gotta be cashing out if you're the Titans, if you're gonna move on from Derrick Henry. That's their whole offense, right? That's their whole team right now. So unless you're gonna move on from him after this year, which is possible for Tennessee, I doubt they move on from Derrick Henry.
I think a Derrick Henry trade could be around the trade deadline if the Titans season is essentially over and it's like, you know what, we'll turn it down next year. Derrick Henry, we'll get rid of you now and kind of go from there. But yeah, I've seen people on social media talking about it, so I was going to bring it up while you were away, but you're back now. So again, that could be for the free agency preview coming up shortly.
Yeah, so pre-June 1st, it's a $10 million dead cap hit. Post June 1st, it's a $5 million dead cap hit. So I just don't see it happening for Tennessee to trade Derrick Henry before the season started. Unless what they did last year. What did Tennessee do last year? Nothing, right?
I want to say they reached the playoffs, but maybe they
no, because Jacksonville made the playoffs.
Yes. Okay. So yeah.
So it was out of Tennessee and the Colts after that, and the Colts were terrible.
They finished 7-10.
So unless Tennessee is about to tear it down, I don't see Derrick Henry getting traded. Now they can trade Derrick Henry and just be like, yo, we need to go get a quarterback. We need to tear it down. They're in the perfect area to tear it down. Like, hey, we don't have nothing going for us. Derrick Henry's about to turn 30 soon, and we don't have a quarterback. We lost AJ Brown. We fired a GM that moved on from AJ Brown. We need to figure this out. So yeah, I get it. Tennessee needs to start thinking about it. So if the word on the street is they are thinking about moving on from Derrick Henry, okay, yeah, let's do it. But what's the compensation? Because hold on. Dalvin Cook might be available too. So now you're talking about Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, all of these boys is going to cost over $8 million. Derrick Henry's already on a $10 million on a contract right now. It's going to be $10 million this year. Saquon Barkley, we talked about him. Dalvin Cook, you got to imagine he's gonna want more than $9 million. So all of these running backs that we're talking about is $10+ million. You going out about Derrick Henry for $10+ million?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not. No.
It's not talking about there. Then what else you got?
Well, no. It's more that the Dolphins have no running backs on a contract right now, like or heading into the next season. But we kind of discussed it before, and it's kind of like there's a chance the Dolphins can bring back Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. for half of what they paid for them last year.
Pennies on a pound.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, well, listen, Derrick Henry is a great running back. There's no denying that. But if I can, again, because of cap issues, I'm leaning towards going Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., and fixing this offensive line. Because while Derrick Henry is amazing at getting, yards after contact and stuff like that, building this offensive line will, just do wonders for the running game. So, yeah.
So if you could get two major acquisitions, what two positions would they be? And when I say major acquisitions, I'm talking about either one in free agency or two in free agency, or one via trade, one via free agency. You have enough cap. You will have enough cap to sign two. We do this every year. Pretty big contracts. And a big contract is over $12 million. So you have room to sign two big contracts, and then you bring back your Trent Sherfields, and you'll sprinkle a couple dollars to Raheem Mostert, sprinkle a little couple dollars here and there. But you will have two big contracts that you can get. What two positions are you going to go for?
Right tackle and tight end.
All right, so that's fair. I don't think you might. I don't think you'll need a big contract for tight end though, because I don't think there's anybody out there that really warrants a big contract for tight end. So you could probably bust that big contract down into two, and then that's how the capology goes. But I want to say I can't remember who gets this credit, so I won't say who it was. My bad. But someone said we should get Mike McGlinchey, and is it Devin White or is it the other linebacker over there in Tampa that's available? It's not Devin White. Devin White's not available.
It is Devin White.
Is it Devin White?
I think about Devin Bush, who's in Pittsburgh.
It was a linebacker. It was.
So the other linebacker in Tampa is Levante David.
Yeah, Levante David.
Yes.
That's who it is. Levante David. So someone said go get Mike McGlinchey and Levante David. I'm not opposed to that. Like, all right, I'm not the linebacker dude, but that's pretty cool. All right, you address linebacker and you address right tackle. There's other people. Jordan Poyer. Is it Terrell Edmonds from Buffalo?
Yes.
So you'll be taking both Buffalo's people and then adding them to your team. Both of them are pretty good. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know how much I love it. Then you're going to have your people like, nah, I want to run it back. So go get Mike McGlinchey, right tackle, and go get Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? And for those who are defensive minded, you're gonna hear somebody say, nah, go trade to get Jalen Ramsey. So there's a lot of things that can happen in the offseason, and especially around this time of the year. For those who remember, it was at the combine when we made the blockbuster trade. Chris Greer made that blockbuster trade, traded away the third pick overall, turned it into Jalen Waddle being selected fifth. I think it's fifth.
Yeah,
because we traded back up from 12. But that trade happened during the combine. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. You got something else before we go to bonus time?
Two things. Jalen Waddle was 6th overall.
He was what?
6th. 6th.
Kadeem, bro. I said 5th, and you said 6th, and then you looked it up and you said 6th.
I said sixth, but I think it's more just the way I say the numbers.
That's wild, bro. So he was picked after 5.
Yes.
All right, so he was 6th.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And I know I sent you a picture. I don't know where this article is from and this trade, but we spoke about trading for a corner, all that kind of stuff. You've already answered. Would you do Jalen Ramsey for a second this year, a second next year, and you get a fifth in return from the Rams? I had to watch this. Would you do Jalen Ramsey for the Dolphins sending a sixth round pick?
That's wild,
year?
bro. Hey, hooked on phonics. Listen, we can't pronounce certain words. I can't announce availability.
Sorry. You can't what?
Pronounce. See, look at this. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We can't pronounce certain words on this podcast. It's the wildest thing, bro. But yeah, man. But now go ahead.
So, would you do Jalen Ramsey for pick 178, a 2024 second round pick, and a 2024 fifth round pick?
Yeah, I would. So my thing about Jalen Ramsey is he only has $12 million guaranteed on his contract. So for everyone saying, oh, you got to trade picks and his contract, you got to give him a new contract. You don't have to give him a new contract. You just got to give him guaranteed money. So you can take that $55 million, turn that $12 million guaranteed into, we'll call it $24 million guaranteed. Like 28 million guaranteed, and then the third year would be okay. We'll cut him if he's too old after that. You know what I'm saying? So you have him guaranteed for 2 years because he's gonna want guaranteed money because he has $12 million guaranteed. Everybody wants the guaranteed money. Like, yo, just give him my guaranteed money. So if I ever get hurt, I'm good. So trade for him, give him his first 2 years guaranteed, because that's gonna be our Super Bowl windows these next 2 years, and then after that, you let him walk. Even if you win, you could let him walk.
Yeah, I was just 2 seconds for him. 100%, I'll do it for pick 178, a second round pick next year, and a fifth round pick. If the Dolphins can somehow head into the draft with still having their second round pick, still having a third round pick, and the other third round pick you traded away for Jalen Ramsey, once again, that Chris Greer appreciation episode is going to be elite. I might even get a Chris Greer mask and just wear it and be like, yo, what are you going to do? So, yeah, 100%, I would do that trade.
One of my favorite giveaways, Kadeem, was the Javon Holland game-worn cleats. Had his cleats, gave him away here on this podcast, Go Time Dolphins. Javon Holland came on this podcast, gave us some stuff to give away to you guys, and we're having another giveaway. Game-worn Javon Holland gloves this time. I like these things too. We're going live for the new league year. Y'all stay tuned. Turn on notifications. Please share, like, and subscribe. Give us a rating on 5-star rating on iTunes, please, and thank you. It means a lot to us. But yeah, y'all don't want to miss the Javon Holland giveaway, game-worn gloves. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
Did you see the reverse, Kadeem? Like I went from the it was like a play flick, like, oh, play action. You thought it was the giveaway, but I turned it into the outro. Kadeem, bro, you can never run that play.
So I didn't want to interrupt you, but while you was away, I've already done to make sure you share, like, subscribe, and I've reminded people about the Javon Holland giveaway. But I'm just saying, I took over host duties. You weren't around, and didn't come back and go, "Oh, yo, everyone." Now, everyone watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast would be like, "Yo, could even really told us that this episode?" But like I said, I didn't want to take away from your shine because as your shine kind of fades and mine increases, it's a power play thing. So I allowed you to continue and keep on going over something which I've already done. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Mr. Increase. Can't get the intro or outro out the way.
I'm telling you now, that live episode, I'm doing it like 100%. 100%. I'm getting it.
Hey. In the comments on this episode, do you think Kadeem is going to complete the intro when he attempts to do it on a live episode? It's a yes or no question. Do you think Kadeem will nail the intro 100% on a live episode when he attempts to do it? All right, I'm taking my no ticket to the cashier already. I'm cashing out. I already know you're not gonna pull it off.
Looks like you'll be have to giving that money back and some extra. Quickly, we didn't get to it on the other side of bonus time essentially. Did you see what Mike McDaniel said about special teams coach Danny Crossman?
I did.
So for those who haven't seen it, McDaniel said it never really crossed his mind to possibly move away from Danny Crossman as special teams coordinator. He does add he wants to see better results, but feels he can get that there with Crossman. Do you think that's McDaniel definitely believe in that, or is that McDaniel, it crossed his mind, but I'm not going to say in public that I nearly fired him?
Brain from same old Dolphins, Aaron Casca, I think he had it. I think he had the best take on this. He said, it's a special teams coach. Is there another special teams coach that you could bring in right now and have a drastic turnaround on our special teams, for our special teams, or with our special teams? Probably not. So keeping the special teams coach and the continuity of it is like probably as beneficial right now. Were we the last special teams in the league? I don't even know where we were with special teams, but at the same time, who else are you going to bring in to do special teams? And is it going to be that much? Is it going to be that beneficial to bring in a new special team coach? I don't know the answer to that question, and I kind of feel him. So I'm gonna ride with what Brain said.
I think the answer is yes, because special teams was bad. Like, couldn't tackle, made brainless decisions week in, week out. And again, of the coaches that lost their job, I think Josh Boyer, we kind of saw coming, but we could probably argue about keeping him. No one saw Matt Applebaum leaving. And Danny Crossman, I think most people did not expect him to be in the job. Thomas Morstead obviously had a great season. Jason Sanders didn't have a great season, but kind of picked up back into the season. But yeah, just in terms of coverage and tackling on special teams, it was bad. It was really bad. So can you find someone who can come in and teach special teams how to tackle? I believe you can. But I also understand, sticking with it. I think it's one of those things where they might stick with it, but if it, first few weeks of the season, if it remains the same, he'll be gone. I think he's on a hot seat.
Bro, you should know how to tackle, bro. Like, this is special teams. It's not a scheme thing. You're not scheming up some real good special teams that no one ever seen before. Like, you're in the NFL. You should be able to make these plays as special teams. You know what I'm saying? So, unlike Boyer, yeah, that has everything to do with scheme and personnel and this and that and all this other good stuff, like when to call a play and all that. Special teams, bro, tackle the person, bro. Block the person, bro. That's it. Like, I'm serious. Like, if you're an athlete, you just hat on a hat. That's what you heard in practice all the time. Hat on a hat. That's it. So nah, I disagree. So, and I'm not saying we should have kept Crossman. I'm just saying if we don't keep him, what we're gonna do? Like, who's out there that we're gonna go get and say we needed this dude. I don't know. So I trust that. I know Crossman knows his job's on the line, so that gotta account for something too. Like that has to have some weight into this. Like, yeah, he's gonna do better because he knows his job's on the line now, as opposed to someone who comes in brand new. That, oh yeah, this is my first year. They're not gonna get rid of me if I do bad. Like, who knows?
But that was Crossman's first year, and he did do bad, and he kept his job.
All right,
And
so
and
why go to the next person then that comes in and he might do bad on his first year when you could have someone, oh, now my job is really on the line and I have to improve.
But again, like I said, Matt Applebaum, the offensive line of the two position / skill groups, offensive line and special teams, which is obviously kind of different because, you know, for the obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to sit there at the end of the season and go, which one's losing their job, I think 99 times out of 100 we go, it's Danny Crossman. So the fact that Matt Applebaum lost his job when, you know, the offensive line wasn't as bad as it had been in previous years, but special teams takes a nosedive and the new guy keeps his job, I don't understand that. Like, to me, that makes zero sense. However, I can understand that, you know, special teams, like, we probably couldn't sit here and say, hey, this special teams coach is up and coming, go and get him. I can understand that. But yeah, I still disagree and would argue that you telling me you can't find a special teams coach to come in and improve that unit, I think you can.
We don't know that Applebaum got fired because of production. He could have got fired for something else. He could have, like, all the stuff that goes on in the Miami Dolphins front office, Kadeem, you telling me that Applebaum got fired because of production? Like, brother, we had coaches snorting coke before practice on the facility. Like, we have no idea why Applebaum got fired, bro.
We have some idea.
What's the idea? What idea you got?
So, on dismissing OL coach Matt Applebaum, McDaniel said it was about getting Frank Smith, who helped a lot with coaching the linemen, to take on more coordinator duties. Smith was devoted a little too much to the offensive line. That's
Right.
what McDaniel said.
Hold on. No, I feel you. So here's the thing, though. If you fire a coach, you're gonna get asked, "Hey, why'd you move on from this coach?" If he was doing something extracurricular that did not represent the franchise well, do you think the franchise is gonna come out and air their dirty laundry by saying, "Yeah, man, we caught this coach doing coke again, another one"? They're not gonna tell on themselves. And again, I'm gonna be very fair to Applebaum. That's a bad example because we don't know if he was doing.
That's a very bad example.
You know what I'm saying? But we've had coaches on the team do drugs at the facility before and after practice. So, and it came to light, though. It's a different story. Now, if you have a coach that's doing something extracurricular that does not look good for the franchise, and you could get rid of them and not let anybody find out about it, you're going to get rid of them and say, "Oh, we just want to move in a different direction." So yeah, I expect that from Coach McDaniel to say something. He got to say something. So I'm not saying we don't know why Applebaum got fired. I don't think we'll ever really know why. It's not like we had a lackluster performance on the O-line, because we had a pretty good O-line and it was banged up the whole season. So it's not like he dropped the ball.
But I think if Applebaum done something which would have brought the organization in a bad light, unless they found out on the exact day that most coaches lose their job, that's very, very that's a massive coincidence.
Hold on. Let's stop right there because I'm already lost. What do you mean that's a massive coincidence?
As in, so like Applebaum lost his job the same day Boy lost his job, right? As in, like, Black Monday.
Yes.
So if Applebaum had done something bad, when did they find out about it? Because I
understand the question now. Now, I had an example of using drugs, which was a bad example only because the Dolphins have had a coach use drugs before.
I think anything bad. Anything.
Right. So here's my thing. There's levels, though. There's egregious, and then there's bad. And then there's, we ask you to fix this issue that you have, whatever the issue, quote unquote, might be. And maybe they feel like, this man brings extracurricular activities, whatever those activities might be, and we don't like that he has this issue, and we're going to move on from you. We asked you to correct it, and you didn't correct it, and we're moving on from you. All firings hence Brian Flores. All firings are not because of performance, because Brian Flores overperformed in 2 of his. Matter of fact, I think he overperformed all 3 seasons, except for he didn't make the playoffs. All 3 seasons he was the Miami Dolphins head coach. I think he overperformed. So I can't say it's only because of performance people get fired. This man Brian Flores was a head coach, and stuff off the field got him fired.
I can understand that, but it's one. All I'm saying, and again, so using those examples, if they told him to fix something, but it's bad enough that the organization is going to look bad, you get rid of him. You don't tell him to fix that.
Or it's course correction, bro. Like it's course correction.
If it's so bad that the organization.
Hold on. Again, I said it's levels. It's levels. Like I didn't say it was egregious. I just say it could have been bad.
Okay, but again, if it's bad, if it's bad enough compared to my days, if it's bad enough that the organization are going to look bad, you get rid of him. And again, even using me and you as an example, Go Time Dolphins. If I do something bad enough that Go Time Dolphins are going to look bad, you don't say to me, Kadeem, go and fix that. Because even if I fix it, if it comes out that I did something bad, you'll be like, well, hold it. Like, I done something bad. I fixed it, but I done something bad.
I do you one better. Because this is the podcast that gives relationship advice too. If I have a girlfriend that does something that I know can potentially come to light and is going to make us and me look bad, and I choose to stay with her because I'm like, yo, we need to fix this and I don't like this, but I'm not going to let you go, but just fix it. And then it's up to me to decide if I want to stay with her or not. If she doesn't look like she's correcting course, then I'm you know what? I'm good. It's cool. Like, I'm moving on. Now, if it still comes out, it comes out. But I moved on. But if it had, I was willing to go through it with you if it came out. But you're still not correcting course, and now I'm moving on. I'm just saying, it's possible. We don't know, bro. Like, hold on. How about this, Kadeem? How about this? You think every person who gets fired, we hear the actual reason why they got fired?
Of course not. And again, the overall point I'm making is that the special teams play in 2022 was bad, and the guy kept his job. Obviously, the reason Matt Applebaum lost his job, defensive line coach, we will never know. And it could be something which has nothing to do with the offensive line play, and I understand that. All I'm saying is that bad special teams play and wanting continuity, in my opinion, isn't good enough to keep him, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Right, and I'm not saying that's why we kept him. I'm just saying let's weigh out what the options are. Now, again, Kadeem, we don't have what Chris Greer has in front of him. For example, look at the wide receiver pool this free agency. It is terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no wide receiver available in free agency right now that you would want to build your franchise around. All right. And Chris Greer took preventative maintenance and preemptive procedures to go get us a receiving core before we had to get to 2023 free agency. Now, what he could have done, which we don't know, is, I mean, who are we going to bring in? Are we going to bring somebody in that can take us to the top 15 special team to make it top 15? I don't know if that person is available. And if he's not, why not stick with the person who you know is going to try even harder because he was bad last year? Matter of fact, Kadeem, this is your reason of keeping Skylar Thompson.
It's really not, but okay.
Kadeem, Skylar Thompson did not do anything impressive.
What all season?
All season, he did not do anything impressive.
Okay, cool. Okay, sure. But
no, Kadeem,
no. Because the thing is, that Vikings game, he wasn't bad. Was the Vikings?
I didn't say bad. I didn't say he was terrible. I said he didn't do anything impressive.
But special teams was bad. Skylar Thompson wasn't bad. all season.
Okay.
Special teams was
Hold on. No. Hear me out. Skylar Thompson wasn't bad. No, like nowhere in the season was he bad at all.
no. The Jets he was bad. Like I know for
Okay.
like that.
So he again, he didn't do anything impressive, Skylar Thompson, at all. Neither did nor did the special teams. They didn't do anything impressive, except for the punter. And he gets you can put that on the special teams. And then there's rumors that Morstead might be retiring. So I'm just saying, it's not, why are you holding so tight on the Skylar Thompson when there could be better out there? But you want to move on from the special teams coach, and then you don't see how they correlate.
No, because I never said I was holding on to Skylar Thompson. I said I wouldn't take. No, I never. I am on record on this show saying I bring in Marcus Mariota to compete alongside him. I said I wouldn't take Carson Wentz. I never said I wouldn't take anyone.
There's a couple quarterbacks that we threw out there with the Jameis Winston episode. Like you said, nah, I wouldn't take a couple of these quarterbacks. I'm like, dang, I'm taking all of these quarterbacks. Like you're higher. It's fair to say you're higher on Skylar Thompson than I am.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, but I still bring in people to compete alongside him.
Yeah, for sure. No, man, I'm bringing in somebody to take his place,
and
he's gonna be the third string. I'm okay with third string,
and that's cool. And so per Football Outsiders DVA, the Dolphins had a bottom 5 special teams play in 2022.
I thought it was bottom. I thought it was like in the 20s, late or like back 20s. When I said it's not like we had the worst, and I think it was pretty bad though.
And my whole thing is that it's not that special teams have been bad for years. Special teams has been, even if they say okay, and you brought someone new in and it tanked. I'm saying I'm not trying to see that guy again. Now, again, it's very harsh of me to say, hey, that guy needs to lose his job. My whole thing is that if the Dolphins can't find a special teams person to come in and take you from bottom 5 even to 20, then the Dolphins have an issue, 100%.
But why not give that guy a chance to do that though?
But then you can say that about all the offensive coaches.
I'm just asking you right now. Why not give him a chance to do it if it was his first year?
Because I can go get someone else. And
then what if that guy sucks it up too?
Then you go get someone else.
Nah, bro. You give somebody a chance. Give him a chance. And then if he fails twice.
So then why haven't we done that with like offensive line coaches? Oh no, dude, you got to go. You have a bad year. You've got to go. And even when the offensive line didn't even have the players, like you are working with a trash offensive line.
I got something for you. You ready, Kadeem?
You're going to say because you got a franchise quarterback there.
No. Who was on the special teams, bro? Like, because I know all our DBs was hurt. I know Xavier Howard ain't playing special teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who else was hurt. All our DBs were hurt. So you have special teamers. So now Keon Crossen was playing a lot of DB. Who else is playing a lot of? What's that dude's name? He's probably not on the team no more. It's another corner. So you're having special teamers play more defense and more special teams now, and they're not even that good on defense, and they're special teamers. So now you have increased their role, and now it's like, all right, we're kind of spreading ourselves kind of thin. Not saying that's the excuse, but I'm saying I can see how that weighs into the decision.
But those same guys are still playing special teams. Yes, they're playing stuff on defense, but they're still playing special teams, and you're doing it badly.
Kadeem, you never played Street Fighter? You ever played Street Fighter?
I'd whoop your Street Fighter, but yeah.
Kadeem, so when you play Street Fighter and I'm beating you up in Street Fighter and your power grid is taking damage, like but you know when you're not taking damage, it kind of increases, right? Right?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Like it enters back. Like I'm getting healthier.
But to what degree? Because it's not gonna go back.
Not a lot. And that's more of my point. It's not a lot. So you're telling me when I'm on defense and I'm getting tired on defense, and then I got to go play special teams and run 50 yards down the field, you don't think I'll be more tired than usual?
Oh yeah,
When I'm typically on the sideline already, just this is my one play. I got to go make the tackle. As opposed to, dang, I had to chase down 3 receivers those for 17 play drive, and now I got to go on special teams. There's a difference.
But then again, it's not just the bad tackling. It's stuff like, hey, we're playing, was it Green Bay this week? How about we don't kick the ball into the one of the best returners in the NFL? And you keep
That's fair.
and you keep and again, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't just okay. If it was just okay, these guys aren't tackling. That's a whole nother issue. It's the fact that they were making dumb decisions. It's like, yo,
that's fair. But I think fatigue has something to do with it. Hey, but look, all I'm saying is,
fatigue has nothing to do with like. Let me finish. Fatigue had nothing to do with telling your kicker, "Hey, kick the ball out the end zone." And we know Jason Sanders can do that. We know.
Do we know if we don't know if he was told to do it or not? That's all I'm saying. We don't know.
So we don't know if he was told to do that or not. But if he wasn't told to do that, you have an issue because special teams coaches isn't paying attention. And if he was told to do that and he's still done it anyway, you have an issue because guys are listening to your special teams coach, and someone has to go.
No, that's Jason Sanders not having a leg to do it now. So now Jason Sanders got to go. We don't know, Kadeem. That's all I'm saying is we don't know, bro. We don't know why Crossman was kept. We don't know, bro.
I'm not advocating. That's a lie. I am advocating for someone to lose their job. All I'm saying is that I'm advocating for someone whose unit performed badly in 2022, and I was surprised. And again, this whole question was you, or if anything, this whole discussion was you surprised that it never crossed his mind? And do you think that it did cross his mind, but we're never going to say in public, hey, I nearly fired this guy? That's where this whole thing started.
That's all I got.
Oopsie.